Hello, welcome back to the Boardgames 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about sort of an old game now, in 2008, a Richard Garfield game called King of Tokyo. And in this game it's a dice chucking Yahtzee style game that sees you trying to gain control of Tokyo whilst beating each other up and trying to get the most victory points, 20 I think, to win the game. In this video we will be giving you a brief overview of the rules. There's not many of them, so it'll be very brief. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we will come back and we will tell you whether or not King of Tokyo is still worth playing. Is it 11 years after its release? When was it made? Don't know. Several years after its initial release. So if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. Boardgames 4K. So, King of Tokyo. How'd you play this game? So what you're going to do, you got a board with Tokyo on it, and at the beginning of the game nobody starts in Tokyo, and when it's your turn you'll take all the dice and you'll roll them, and then you'll choose some of the dice to set aside, and then you'll roll them again, choose some to set aside, and you roll them again, and then depending on what you have rolled you will be able to do a certain thing. So the first person to roll a attack symbol will have to occupy Tokyo. So you'll move your little monster figure that you have chosen out of the selection. They're all the same. None of them have got any special abilities unless you get a power-up expansion, but that's another thing, that's another story. So you'll move your figure into Tokyo and then you'll resolve the symbols. One thing you've got to remember is that you cannot heal in Tokyo, right? That's one of the most important rules that you have to remember. And then you'll resolve all of the dice in an order that you see fit. So if you roll attack symbols and you're in Tokyo, you'll deal that much damage to everybody that is not in Tokyo. And if you're outside of Tokyo, you will deal damage to the person in Tokyo. Right, so if you roll some of the numbers, these equate to victory points, and if you roll 3 of them, then you will gain that many victory points, and if you roll a 4th or a 5th number of that type, then you will gain 1 victory point for each extra die that you roll. So if you roll the little energy symbol, then you'll take that many energy cubes, and you can trade these in to buy cards. These energy cubes are like a kind of currency in the game, and if you roll any of these heart symbols, then you can heal that many wounds that you have been dealt. But as we've said, you cannot heal in Tokyo. So if you want to buy cards, once you've rolled all your dice, and you can trade in any number of energy cubes to buy one of the 3 cards that is on display, and you can also trade in 2 energy cubes to wipe clean the display and deal another 3 cards. So some of the cards that are in this deck, the deck is actually quite big. I think we've got a power-up expansion in there as well, so it's a little bit bigger than it normally is, but the deck is quite big. And some of the cards that are on display that are in this deck are, you might have monster batteries, and this is a card that you will keep, and it's a permanent thing. And it says here, once you've purchased monster batteries, put as many energy cubes as you want on it from your reserve, match this from the bank, and at the start of each turn take 2 energy cubes off and add them to your reserves. That's a pretty good one. You might be able to buy the giant brain, and that means this is a permanent one, and it means that you get 1 extra reroll each turn, which is quite a nice thing to do. You might have corner store. This is a temporary thing. You'll discard it immediately and it gives you a victory point. That's really quite nice, isn't it? Or you might have the gas refinery, that you would discard this one and you'll gain 2 victory points and deal 3 damage to each monster. And the cost of these cards is in the top left hand corner. So the gas refinery will cost you 6 energy cubes. So the effects of being in Tokyo, obviously we talked about dealing damage, but if you start your turn in Tokyo you will get a victory point, and you need 10 of these victory points to win the game. As soon as anybody has got to 10 victory points, then they will be the winner of King of Tokyo. So what do we like about King of Tokyo? So the first thing that we really like about it is it seems quite familiar, doesn't it? Because it uses that Yahtzee mechanism that we all know, and maybe we don't love it, maybe we don't love it, I don't know, but we all know it from way back when we got Yahtzee, MB Yahtzee, when we were a kid, when we were about 10 years old, you know what I mean? It's sort of familiar, and it takes that Yahtzee mechanism and bolts on all of these extra things, like you've got the energy cubes and you've got the victory points, and you've also got those wonderful kaiju characters that really sort of bring the game alive and really does keep you buzzing. So the second thing that we really like about King of Tokyo is the vast array of item cards that you can buy. There are loads in here, and like we've already gone through a lot of them, but there's so many in it, and the fact that this game's quite quick and you can spend energy cubes to wipe the slate clean, as it were, it means that every game you play there's going to be a different kind of game-breaking option. They're not mandatory like a Cosmic Encounter or whatever, but there's going to be a different kind of game-breaking option, not just every game but almost every round, and that's excellent. So the third thing that we're going to talk about with regards to what we like about King of Tokyo is the wonderful mechanism where if you're in Tokyo you deal damage to everybody that isn't in Tokyo, and vice versa. So if you're outside Tokyo, everybody deals damage to the person in Tokyo. So it's like a risk reward mechanic that works really well. Do you stay in Tokyo knowing that you're going to get damaged almost every turn, but in the same breath you will deal damage to everybody? So it's a wonderful choice. It's an agonizing choice, and we really like those sort of choices. So what don't we like about King of Tokyo? So the first thing that we don't like about King of Tokyo is that its player count. It claims that you can play this with 6 players, and obviously you can, but it will go on and on and on and on and on and on, and it'll go on and on, you know, if you play with 6 players, and it can go on and on and on for when you're playing with 4 players, because you've got this where you can heal when you're outside of Tokyo. You get damaged, right, and then you can heal back up, and you get damaged and you can heal back up, and you've got that thing where if somebody's close to winning, then everybody's going to be going for it, right? So yeah, it can outstay its welcome under certain circumstances, and it can get a little bit boring. So the second thing that we find frustrating about King of Tokyo is, like we said, we do like these cards, but it suffers from the same thing as a lot of games that have lots of powerful cards or special ability cards, is that these cards tend to sort of hang around. I mean, I know you can wipe them clean, but you'll be waiting if you can't get those energy cubes, then these things are going to stay in the display for quite a while, you know, and nobody wants to waste their energy cubes, you know, so you have to sort of save them up. You have to waste a lot of turns trying to get your energy cubes up in order to dump out the crappy cards that come out randomly. So that's one of the things that we don't like about it, is that, you know, if nobody's going to sort of take the bull by the horns and get rid of these crappy cards, if any crappy cards come out, then these can outstay their welcome, you know. So the third thing that we don't like about King of Tokyo is the fact that there's nothing to distinguish any of these kaiju monster things from each other, and this was rectified in a sort of way with the power-up expansion, but we're not talking about the power-up expansion. Out of the box, there's nothing to distinguish the monkey dude from the dragon dude or whatever. There's nothing. They're the same, and it would have been better had they had a special ability or a special ability card that you could randomly assign to these monsters, but it's not there, and that really does make the game kind of sterile and a little bit dull. So to summarize, is King of Tokyo still worth playing today and in the future? So we're going to say yes, Richard Garfield has created one of the greatest entry-level games known to humanity, and it's a wonderful game. It's very easy to play. Like we said, it's a familiar game, so you can jump straight in, and you know, when you play with new people, you just say, well, it's Yahtzee, but you just, when you get these cubes, you can trade them and you can buy these and it does this. That's it. So we do like that. We like the mechanism where it's a sort of one versus all, and it's like a twist on the one versus all sort of thing. It's a good game. I'm pretty sure that it feels slightly dated. You know, the fact that out of the box you don't get the power-ups. I mean, this has got a second edition. We don't know nothing about that, so maybe they added the power-ups in the second edition. We're not sure about that. But in this edition that we've got, there isn't any of that, and that really does make the game feel a bit dated, that it should have been brought up to date. So we're going to give this 3 out of 5. It's still fun. We do enjoy playing it, but we don't play it as much as we used to way back when it was first released. So that's Richard Garfield's King of Tokyo. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you next time.